Happy Monday, everybody. How's it going? I wanted to specifically talk about the crazy ass dreams that I've been having since I started all this. I've had quite a few of you guys actually ask me about it, and it's been quite crazy. It's been very intense. And don't get me wrong, I've taken tolerance breaks over the years, but during those times I had crazy dreams. What's been crazier is that it seems that they are not like chilling out. Like they're not going away. And I don't know how long I have these intense dreams or if it's just like a sober thing, that it's just a normal thing. People have dreams like this, but goddamn, do they feel real. And it's been what's the word? Fun. I've been enjoying my dreams, even the crazy ones. It feels like it's kind of teaching me stuff when I really think about my dreams. Like, I'll try to start from the beginning and I'll tell a few of them. I know it's like a cliche thing that it's so corny for people to tell what their dreams were, but whatever. The first wild ass dream that I had that comes to mind was on the second night, and I'm kind of embarrassed to say, but I really hope my wife doesn't watch this video. I had a dream where I had to wake up and change my clothes. Now, I've not had a dream like that. I don't know. I've maybe had like two or three ever in my entire life. I remember specifically what was happening. There was me, my wife, and another third party involved. And I I can't even believe I'm actually talking about this. And like I said, I've had like two or three my entire life. I remember when I was in fifth grade. It might have been the first time I ever busted a nut. I had a sex dream. I have to kind of talk a little low because I don't want my kids to hear me, but I had a fucking sex dream about Monique. Yeah, the comedian Monique. I had a sex dream about Monique and I in a jacuzzi hot tub when I was in fifth grade. And yeah, I don't know why I'm even talking about. I just thought it was funny and something to bring up. But yeah, had another one with a third party involved, and that was interesting because I'm not the type of man to really want a third party kind of thing or nothing like that. That's not at all who I am. My wife is definitely not like that. But in the moment of the dream, it was like, what the fuck? And I woke up and I snuck over to the restroom and yeah, it was embarrassing kind of. And I cannot believe I'm even talking about it. But yeah, so that was one of them. So recently, I don't know which day it was, I was talking about how my wife was gone on a business trip. When she was gone, I had this wild ass nightmare where I was driving her car with her in it and I drove off a cliff. And I know it's a pretty common thing, but I am constantly having dreams, maybe like once every couple of weeks, about like driving off a cliff or falling from a building or a plane going down. But I legitimately, consistently remember in my dreams that I'm like, huh! And then I just look down and I start falling. And then I somehow wake up at some point. This time I did not wake up. I was in her car. We drove off the cliff. I crashed the car. The car landed and we were survived and we were okay. And I was just trying to drive the car, but it wouldn't move. So she took off because she was pissed off at me and walked away. And I was trying to make it up to her by finding another car that we could drive. So I saw this like beautiful Tesla looking car and I opened the door and there was a guy with a gun pointing it at me, right? And I was just like, oh man, I'm sorry. I'm walking away. You know, I remember feeling terrified as fuck, like legitimate fear, like you would if you had a gun pointed at you. So I walked away and I thought I got away from the dude. And I started looking for Monica again, and then I turned around and he was right there with the gun, and then he shot me in my stomach, and I started bleeding out of my stomach. I remember like I'm dying. I'm gonna die. And then in that instance, I got this urge to just wake up and make sure Monica was okay. So I woke up at like 2:30 in the morning and text her because I was all worried and all this other stupid shit. So yeah, that was a wild ass dream. And I have a lot of dreams about my wife and my relationship and her and like worrying about her and if she's doing stuff. I don't know. I just have a lot of weird kind of dreams like that. And I think that it has a lot to do with my fear of abandonment and my fear of losing control of my life. And all my bullshit really comes out in my dreams in kind of an obvious way. And I think that was a kind of obvious one. You know, I lost control of the car. It was damaged. I was trying to keep my wife happy, you know, and in that I died because I did some dumb shit by trying to steal a car. And I'm trying to think of the dreams. I know when I'm done making this video, I'm going to fucking be like, damn it, I didn't talk about that one. But I've had tons of them, but it's obviously hard to remember. I had another dream where I was in this weird, like, dystopian future where everybody lived on this, like, one patch of, like, 3.5 miles of land. And I wasn't technically supposed to be there, I guess, or like, and Monica, my wife, wasn't supposed to be there, but we had to like get jobs to be able to survive. So she had to work somewhere and I had to work somewhere, but we had to be secret about it. And in order to get to my job, I had to like sneak around like through all these buildings and all this like crazy architecture and shit. And at some point, I ended up meeting up with Andrew Schultz and Mark Gagnon and all those people from the Flagrant 2 podcast. If you guys watch them, they're fucking amazing, by the way. I love that podcast. My favorite one by far. But yeah, I ended up kicking it with them. And it was so weird. It's like when you listen to podcasts, and you guys probably know this even about me, it's like you get to know people by listening to them talk for hours and hours and hours. So it's like I legitimately felt like I was talking to them, and it was wild. And it's crazy because I remember talking to Andrew Schultz and asking him like, hey man, so what do you think about my YouTube channel? Can you give me some advice? Like I've been doing it since I was 16 and I've been doing this. And he's like, damn. And he asked me how much how much money I made. And I told him and he was like, and he kind of laughed at me. And then, I was like, no man, I did this cool thing called the YouTube Cypher back in the day. And he's like, okay, what are you doing right now? He's like, okay, how much you make right now? And then he said, well, that's a failure. I said, no, but I've had great times. I've had people come up to me and singing my music, and I'm really satisfied with where I am in life. And he goes, but you're not where you wanted to be, so that's a failure. And you have to admit that at this moment in order to move forward. And it was some wild ass advice. Like, that's true. Like, if what I'm really trying to do with this channel and this whatever is to make it successful to the point where this is my full-time job or whatever the fuck, which I'm not like actively, consciously trying to do that. But this dream kind of made me wonder if I am, and I'm just like keeping it at that goal at an arm's reach so that I don't fail again. Yeah, it was very fucking interesting talking to Andrew Schultz, my dream. It's funny because I actually mentioned, I said, so what do you think about Audible 484? I was like, Audible it's an audio podcast book company. And 484, like, who has numbers at the end of their name anymore? Like, and he said, yeah, well, what about, have you ever thought about, and then at the same time, him and I said, ironic. And it's funny because I've been thinking about that, changing my channel and changing my music artist name to Ironic for tons of different reasons. But yeah, so it was just a very interesting dream, and it's it's kind of crazy that I don't know that I'm remembering them so well, and that I kind of honestly feel like they really are starting to mean things that are very palatable. I guess that's the word. Like, I really am starting to be like, damn, I'm like learning lessons from my dreams like I kind of used to when I was younger. I used to have wild fucking dreams when I was young, like super, super young. I remember I used to have these wild ass reoccurring nightmares about long division. It literally scares me thinking about it, but I remember like, it was almost like night terrors because I feel like I remember being like looking around the room that I was in, but also having like these thought loops. And it was like, I had to figure out like what 355,000 divided by 478 was, right? Or some crazy long division problem like that. And if I didn't figure it out, it was like worse than the entire universe exploding. It was like fear like I've never felt since then. It was like the ultimate level of fear that a human being can actually have. And to the point where I would wake up sweating, I was crying, terrifying. And it was just long division problems in like a black void or like being stuck in the room. And it's probably sleep paralysis kind of stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I just remember really like tripping out on my dreams when I was younger, and it's interesting to get back to that. Like last night, I had a dream where I was at a birthday party for my children here, where we live, and we have this little clubhouse area that we can rent out, and we were there, and a friend of mine was there, and he something happened, and he was like, "Fuck, all right," and then he went into the restroom, and the cops showed up and said, "Hey, we got a tip that somebody here has $9 worth of cocaine." And I was like, okay, well, it's not me. Sorry. What do you want to do with that? Like, what the fuck? And no, I said, excuse me. And then I brought up the things the like police interaction video tips that I've learned. And I said, okay, well, are you going to arrest me? Am I being detained? And they said, you are being detained. And I said, okay, under reasonable suspicion of what crime? And they said, well, that doesn't matter. And just like kind of the same stupid bullshit cop stuff you see on TikTok or YouTube or whatever. I don't know. I don't know what exactly that meant. Maybe just like I have a fear of fucking up with friends. I don't know. That's kind of one of those dreams I had that were kind of like hard to find the lesson. And sometimes there's not always a lesson, but yeah, man, I've talked for a long time. This is a longer video, but I don't know. The dreams have been wild. And like I said, they're a lot more palatable. And I'm remembering how I used to think about my dreams and learn lessons from them. And it makes me kind of think and wonder, what that universe really is when you dream. And it's an interesting concept to really like wonder about, because there is something that feels just as real as right now when you're in a dream. And it's literally at a point where like I can wake up and I could fall asleep and go back into that dream very, very easily. And if I'm awake and I'm still kind of out of it, I'm still kind of in a dream. Like I have these wild thought processes and like wild thought loops that happen when I'm like half awake, to the point where it's like I feel like my wife is dreaming with me and I'm looking at her, or like there's this weird middle ground between the dream world and this world. And it's like I can play with it a little bit when I want to. And it's just fucking interesting. And I don't necessarily know if I'd have remembered all this or, and whatever, if I didn't take this break. So for that alone, it's kind of worth it to just be like, man, at least I'll be able to go to sleep and have some wild dreams tonight. And, like, other than that, I'm doing great. 17 days in a row now that I've hit the gym, 500 calorie workout. Sometimes I do close to 600. A lot of the time I kind of want to do more, but I don't want to overdo it right now because I have another 16 days to go, or 15 days to go. Wait, 14 days to go now. 14 days? Only 2 more weeks? That's kind of exciting. I'm excited to get home from work and fucking get stoned again. Like, I know that people are not going to like that. And who knows, maybe in 2 weeks when I have the opportunity, I may or may not do it. I don't know. But I really do miss the warm, fuzzy feeling behind my eyes. I do really miss like just the calmness of it all. But I will say that I have never experienced the calmness I'm experiencing now day to day. And I do worry that, let's say I do smoke at night, am I going to wake up the next day still feeling that calm? And right now, even as I say that out loud, I think that I will, as long as I continue to physically work out. I think that might be the most valuable lesson I've learned from this month, is that working out and hard cardio is by far the best thing I've ever done for myself, mentally and obviously physically. I'll leave it at that. I appreciate you guys watching all the way to the end. Thank you guys so much. If you guys watched all the way to the end, I think that I could be comfortable enough to say, hey, don't forget that you can become a member of the channel. I think for only $1 or $2. And obviously it supports me and the channel, but yeah, you can also get like cool emojis and things like that. And I think that if I say that to you guys here at the end of the channel, you won't like hate me for it. I've really not wanted to like do self promo or anything like that on these videos, but yeah, man, it's not something I am pushing. You obviously don't have to do it, but it's just really cool being able to see people who are members. And then I guess that's it. All right. I love you guys. Hope you guys are doing great. Stick with it if you're here with me. All right. We got this. 2 more weeks. Let's go, baby. Peace out.